r/ask Reddit. What are some unethical and possibly illegal life hacks? When we were teens, we used to go to the movies on busy nights in large groups. 2 people would buy tickets, enter the theater. 1 person would head back outside with the 2 stubs and bring a 3rd person in. 3rd person would exit with both stubs and bring a 4th person in. We sometimes repeated this until we had over a dozen people in the theater for the price of 2 tickets. The ushers never saw the same face more than twice. If you see a baby with candy, you can take it and there's literally nothing they can do about it. But sounds easy, like really easy. I went to a university where the student to parking ratio was extremely terrible. You would basically have to show up 2 hours before class if you lived off campus to get a parking spot. Personally, I lived on campus, so for me parking wasn't that bad unless I left the campus before 5 p.m. So every time I walked to my car later in the day, I noticed that a parking spot right in the front, prime piece of parking, always had an orange cone on it. There was nothing wrong with it, it just had an orange cone. Later that semester I had to go get something out of my car in the morning and see a guy drive up to the cone spot, get out of his car, put the cone in the trunk, and proceed to park. Turns out this guy has been doing this for months, using the cone to reserve his spot. Apparently no one ever questions or moves the cone when he places it back on the parking spot when he leaves. TLD, a guy used an orange cone to reserve prime parking spot. No one ever questioned it. If you unplug the Ethernet cable from a Coinsta machine, it won't charge a commission. Not too suspicious to squeeze behind a big ass money machine without someone questioning you. Edit. Poor grammar. Thanks for your 2 cents. Edit 2. We get it. You pretend to drop a couple coins. Take a penny. Never leave a penny. Struggling to write CV or can't get a particular job? Post fake job offerings on websites such as Indeed.co.uk for that position you're interested in and watch the CV's resumes pour in, which you can then copy for your own advantage. I've noticed that it only takes about 2 or 3 prompts, spread out temporally, to instill a false memory in someone. The best public bathrooms in a city are in the expensive hotels or luxury department stores. The one in my city has a TV on the wall in front of every urinal and molten brown soap in the dispenser. Literally no one uses them and they are cleaned constantly. I have been abroad and the luxury department stores toilets are always spotless. Put a NSFW tag on your posts to get more karma. This won't apply to all parking garages, but I used to park at one where, right before I paid my ticket at that vending machine type doohickey, I would walk back to the entrance gate, press the button for another ticket and pay instead with the new one. I would be charged according to my stay of 30 seconds, when in reality I had been there for hours. By adding a random one-way third leg onto a round-trip flight, you can sometimes fool the airline into dropping the fuel charges that usually add $300 $400 onto the ticket. It's called a fuel dump by frequent flyers. You can use an empty Visa Rewards bank card to make in-flight purchases. The cards cannot be run while in flight, so all transactions are completed once you land, so you can receive any item you want for free. There is no way to track the failed transaction because your information is not tied to the card. My friend is a pilot and I have done this for years. When I was running low on food, I would eat the free breakfast at the hotel 2 minutes from my apartment. Need a tool only once, buy it, use it, then return it to Home Depot. It's the Home Depot free rental policy. This one isn't really illegal, but if you go to Dunkin' Donuts about 30 minutes before closing time, they will give you all their leftover donuts if you ask. If you don't, they just throw them away. Most of the time, you can get away with lying. Listen up people, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's registered. Buy an ebook on Amazon, turn it into a EPUB with Calibre, which creates another copy, then return the book. I've only ever used this for university textbooks. Those guys deserve it for the prices they put up. Edit. You have to strip DRM with a plugin. I'm quite late, but I figured I'd share. My dad once told me this when I started to apply to jobs in colleges. If there is a list of things that are posted on the site of what you are applying for, Copy and paste them into your application with white text. If it's run over by a computer, it will catch it and send it to the interviewers, getting you an instant interview. If all applications are looked over by people, it won't be seen at the bottom and won't matter to them. Edit. Also put it on 0.5 font. If a married person of the opposite sex is telling you the bad stuff about their spouse, you can bang them. Gonna throw an edit in here for the married people who might be reading this. Turn towards your partner, not away. Resentment is the #1 relationship killer. Read Gottman and take it to heart. My wife knows my history. I've even showed her this post. And actually, if you're the single one who's taken advantage of this, just remember it was never about you. Nobody's leaving their spouse for you. They just wanted to leave their spouse. Got a cracked windshield? Drive around on the highway for a bit and find a rock truck. Call the number on the back and tell them a rock flew out and broke your windshield. Sometimes they will pay for a replacement. Edit. So this blew up. Today I learned most insurances will cover cracked windshields. Today I learned my current insurance sucks. Organic foods look a hell of a lot like regular foods at the self-checkout. New blender? Nope. Just a lot of Idaho potatoes. You can marry more money in 30 minutes than you can earn in a lifetime. If your lie embarrasses yourself, people are more likely to believe it. Cindy thinks you ate the last cookie. You couldn't have because you had awful diarrhea. The key is to be as hesitant to give this excuse as you can be. When you have drugs on you, also carry a helium balloon with you at all times. If you get busted by the cops, attach the drugs to the balloon and let go. The police will not be able to find the drugs, and they probably will get fired for shooting at a balloon, unless you use a black balloon. Torrenting everything, especially textbooks for school. My dad was a private investigator when I was a kid. 85% of his job consisted of just sitting in his truck waiting for someone to come out of somewhere. If there was no free parking available, he would just park wherever he wanted and then put 4 traffic cones around his truck. Eventually he even got a hard hat and one of those fluorescent vests construction workers wear and threw them in the bed of his truck to make it look like the truck belonged to a construction worker. He never once got a ticket. Pressing 0 for a human, when the greeting has kindly asked you to listen to the entire message before pressing anything. Need references for your job interview? Have a friend fake it. Just make it believable and don't pick something you shouldn't be doing. References are just people who don't know you calling people they don't know for information they can't confirm. If you're otherwise qualified, there's no reason it should be a barrier. At a Redbox, put in the promotion code Redbox. Brock room or break room. Most places get 1 free movie a day for their break room for having the machine on site and don't utilize this. If nobody has used that code within 24 hours, it's your free. If you have to bury a body, bury it. Then fill in the hole halfway, put in a dead animal, and fill the hole. When sniffer dogs find it, police will dig down and find the dog, call it a false alarm and keep going. Was just talking to my wife, who sells cars, tonight. Learned that you can roll negative equity from a previous car into a lease, total your new car, and only be on the hook for your insurance premium. So here's an unethical illegal example of the above. Own a car that is only worth $15,000, but for which you owe $25,000. You have $10,000 negative equity in your car. You lease a new car and roll in your negative equity. The dealership will take your old car, pay the bank for your old car, and charge you some additional amount on your lease to make up for the $10,000 in negative equity you rolled in. Now drive off the lot and total the car. You will have to pay the deductible on your car insurance, typically $500, but you will be excused from your lease, which means you were able to unload $10,000 worth of debt for $500. This is an example of insurance fraud. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.